A couple years down the road, you take off your hard hat and
What?
you wipe the sweat from your fucking brow. The Texas sun beats down on you in another relentless summer day. You're out on the job site. You feel the weight of a claw hammer sort of pull you a little bit to the side.
Whoa.
It hangs loosely off your belt. You like to look down at it sometimes, and you like position your shadow to make it look like it's your cock. The handle. You just adjust it to where it looks like the handle of your hammer is your hammer. You
Sure.
know, you do that. You point to you go, hey, Jesus, one of the guys you work with, and he like
Yeah.
looks at you, and you point to the shadow, and he just laughs. You're a bit of a jokester around, the sites. And it's something that, like, frankly, the city frowns upon. You're working for the city of Austin,
The city
right?
frowns upon.
On your sometimes lewd, crude behavior. Sometimes.
The city is aware of this,
Oh yeah,
of
you
my
got a
like
file.
my or like my horny shadows or whatever.
Yeah, they are aware of your horny shadows. I mean, it's a thing that you've been written up for
Okay.
previously.
And I just keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you always like. I mean, now anymore you look. Before you were not looking.
Okay.
You were just openly doing it, almost like in defiance of authority, sort of mocking them,
Wow.
and just like trying to find where the lines are. And you found them, brother. And there's proof of that inside your file
Whoa.
in HR. Every time you get written up for it, they have to like document it. So they'll like pull the security footage and show that like every single instance is like paired with like a photo that you of like you making the shadow.
They have photographic evidence.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's always on a job site.
Yeah.
They got cameras up. They want to make sure
Oh,
people,
okay. Yeah.
nobody's breaking in or anything. So yeah. So yeah, every month or so you go into HR and you're like, hey, I'd like to have a moment to review my file. And you and the HR guy just look at it together and you just laugh, because you're legally allowed to like go review your HR file. They can't prevent you from that. And so you guys do, and you're like, oh, look at this one, January, right? And it's just you. One of the there was one where like a guy was like bent over doing like he was like smoothing out concrete. He was like on
Yeah.
his knees. He had like a trowel in his hand, and you like walked up behind him and you used the handle on your hammer to make it look like a penis going into his like butt, like where his
Sure.
shadow was,
Yeah.
you know?
Classic jokester behavior.
You brought a couple of cuties, those little clementines. They call them cuties.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You brought a couple of cuties with you for lunch, and you were holding them in your hand, so it looked like two big fucking nuts swinging.
And me and the HR guy just find this hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys are reviewing. It's your monthly review of your HR folder, right? It's a thing that you just kind of schedule anymore. So you guys are looking at, you go through all that. But again, your behavior is something that your superiors have taken notice of, and they're just not happy with it. They're like also like you're wasting like so much company time like setting this up. There's like videos of you like sitting in a chair waiting for this guy to get to this part of the concrete
Oh
just
man.
so that like just so that like the light would be perfect and that like you would achieve like the best shot. You've got like a
Oh
three
man.
camera setup of your own that you're bringing out, that you're setting up and you're like getting your own pictures. You hire a guy. He's a he's
What?
a he's a photographer, right? You're trying to get like very artfully done versions of these. Um, Guy comes out, he doesn't wear a hard hat, hammer drops on his head. He's in the hospital for 2 months, right? So like, there's just been like a lot of distractions, a lot of distractions with you on site. And you don't feel like you fit in there anyway. Like this one day, you wipe the fucking sweat from your brow, you hear the backup beep, of some machinery being moved.
I love that
You
sound.
kind of you love that sound. You always have, and that's one of the things that's drawn you to working for the city. You like the sound. You like the smell. You like the smell of wet dirt that gets pierced by the blades of a fucking backhoe. You know, you
Sure.
love hearing the tear of grass on the stillness of the air. You love like the sensory element of being on a job site. And you hear that beep, 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 the backup beep sends a chill down your spine. It's your favorite sound on the site. You turn around and there is a brand new scissor lift that is being driven in through an open dock door. The foreman on your job site is he's like in the basket of the scissor lift, just smiling. He's the one driving it in, just a big fucking dumb grin on his face.
Yeah.
He's kind of a shithead anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like very self-important. So much that in fact that like he drives the scissor lift into the garage and he like whistles real loud. He's like one of those guys that like can just whistle real loud. Everybody kind of like walks over. He raises the scissor lift all the way up to like its top, and then he goes, "Gentlemen," right? Like he's like your king. And he's like, "I'd like
Oh,
to introduce you to our new scissor lift." He goes, "If I catch anybody on this thing who makes less than $30 an hour, you're fired." And he looks down, he goes, "You know who you are. We all know who you are."
okay.
So he's like giving these proclamations from atop an extended scissor lift.
Yeah, this guy sucks.
Yeah, he sucks real bad, right?
What's his name?
His name is Ted Darlington. He's wearing a hard hat that says he's got a sticker on it that says my other hard hat is a fuck you, you
Oh,
know,
Ted.
right? And then he has a bumper sticker on his truck that says my other truck is a hard hat. And every now and then in traffic, somebody will like look at my other hat or my other truck as a hard hat, and he'll be like wearing his hard hat, and then he points to the one that says "fuck you." It's just like a whole thing that feeds into itself. He's like very self-absorbed, right?
Yeah, this guy sounds not good.
He got his wife breast implants. Wasn't really her choice. Like
Jeez.
'cause he's one of those. He's just one of
Okay.
those dudes, right? You fucking hate him. You hate
Yeah.
working with him, right?
Wow.
But he makes a big deal out of the scissor lift. I mean, granted, it's a brand new scissor lift. It's very nice. It's smooth. It raises and lowers quickly. It's very responsive. There's a charging station that's already been installed in the warehouse. And you know that like this scissor lift has been on back order for like 8 months. This thing should have been here, last spring, but it wasn't, right?
What took so long?
Well, you know, this specific scissor lift, it's just made by like a very niche scissor lift company. You got to get on a waiting list. Like it takes a lot of time. It's like a craftsmanship thing. It's like some like tool, it's like a tool company basically that makes this thing. And they make 500 of these a year. They're not going to make you 501, you know. They're
Okay.
not going to do that for you. They're like there are 500 of them. The people who get them get them. The people who don't can come back next year.
Okay.
It's such a good product that they don't have to do any more than they have to do.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah. And frankly, it has been the jewel of Ted's eye for the last year. Because you had like an old beat up scissor lift that's seen better days, right? And that just it would squeak on the way up and it would rattle on the way down. And it wasn't like it was unsafe, but nobody felt safe in it. Right. It feels like it's just a matter of time before something goes wrong on this old scissor lift.
Jeez.
So Ted got the approval to buy the X12 scissor lift. They put the order in. 8 months go by, and it's finally here. Rolling. They're like steel wheels. It's something that's supposed to be like very stable. Just these
Yeah.
big fucking heavy wheels, just rolling it across the concrete. You see the gleam in Ted's eye. As he descends, he says, "This thing has a top speed of 15 miles an hour." He goes, "You're not going to find that on any other scissor lift in town."
Yeah, that's pretty
He's like,
quick for a scissor lift.
he's like, "Legally, I could take this on the road and there's no issue." And everybody's like, "What?" And like your
You're
company
going
your company
15.
your company lawyer steps out. He goes, "Guys, we've done our homework. This vehicle could go on the road without issue." Everybody's like, "Okay, that's why would you take a
It's
scissor lift out for a drive, right?"
nowhere fast enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly not for like highway use.
No.
But you see that he's just super proud of it, right? He goes, you can drive for 6 hours on a single charge of these batteries." He goes, "It has a weight capacity of 1,500 pounds. It has the Absolock scissor system in place. It will not drop with weight inside. It's a pneumatic thing. It's like a top of the line feature."
The
They go,
Absol
"This thing
lock.
is the Absolock." Don't know. The Absolock. It's like a part of like a new uh campaign that the scissor lift company is working on,
Wait, how come they have a campaign if they're like always sold out? Like, why would they need to?
because it's not a campaign to sell more. It's a campaign to let you fucking know you aren't getting one.
Man, these guys.
Yeah. No. Absolute.
What's the scissor lift company called?
It's called the Hijack Company.
Hijack Company.
Yeah, HI-JACK. They make scissor lifts that will jack you up as high as you want to go. They made a scissor lift that wound up taking a guy 580 feet up in the air. He fell from it, but it got up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was like a world record stunt. They spent like 2 years building this one specific lift. And they put like padding around the base of the lift, but they did not put nearly enough.
Oh no.
Yeah. He missed it entirely. It was like a gym mat on the floor. It was just everywhere.
Wow. No.
As soon as he just
Yeah.
split into as many pieces as you could possibly imagine.
Oh my God. Oh man.
So the hijack company, uh, they don't fuck around.
No.
They swing big, and when they hit, it's a home run, and when they miss, 45-year-old father of two dies.
Yeah. Big miss.
But the scissor lift you're looking at now is not a miss. It's far from it. It's top of the line, commercial grade, standard scissor lift, right? All the bells and whistles you could want. AccuLock system is in place, right? This thing is not going anywhere. And you see Ted just like he gets down, right? He gets out of the basket. He spits into a towel and just starts shining up the chassis, right? Or like the hull of the base. And you see him kind of stop. You see him take his glasses off. And for just a moment, he's all by himself. Everybody kind of goes back to what they're doing. You see him cover his nose, and you swear he wipes a tear from his eye. You can tell that he loves this scissor lift more than anything. So he like looks at you, he like catches your gaze as like you're like looking at him, and you kind of have this like what the fuck look on your face. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's very embarrassed. He goes, "What are you looking at, Dean?" What do you say?
I just go, nothing, man.
He goes, "No, say it." He puts his glasses back on. He strides over to you. He goes, "Say it, Pat."
Is this guy my
He goes, "I'm
boss?
yeah." He's like, We're all getting real tired of your shit."
What are you talking about?
He's like, "Right, boys?" And nobody like really says anything, but it doesn't stop it.
Okay.
He's like, right in your face. He's like, "Say it."
Hmm. I guess I would just walk away from this guy. I don't think I would get into an argument with him.
You go, oh, he goes like, "Okay, I see. Not man enough to talk to me about it." He goes, "Well, that's insubordination, Dean." He goes, "Get the fuck out of here. You're fired."
For what?
He goes, "Everybody here saw me tell you to do something as your superior, and you didn't do it." He goes, "Tired of your shit, tired of your dumb fucking shadows with your fake dick." He goes, "I'm tired of it."
Oh, you know about those?
He goes, "Get the fuck out of here." He goes, "Of course I know about those." He goes, "Leave now."
No one likes you. Right, boys?
Nobody says anything.
Okay. Then I leave in shame.
Yeah. I
Dang.
mean, you do work with a lot of mute guys, but like even the ones
Of-
who could speak just
A
choose not to.
a
Yeah.
lot of mute guys.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
There was a guy who you have the best mute construction worker in the entire country
What
on your
is
staff.
what are you talking about?
There's a guy on your crew.
Yeah.
His name is Franklin uh, Skittle, and he grew up as like a deaf kid, and
Yeah.
he went to a school for the deaf, right? And they helped him with job placement, and he got a job working at like a union labor shop, like right out of school, and he's like done really well everywhere he's gone, and he is known as the best mute construction worker in the entire company. Hmm.
How
And so
many are there in the company?
because he had such success, he was like, I'm not gonna do a voice or anything, but he was like, "Hey, I know other guys
Oh,
who are like
sure.
really hard workers."
Yeah.
He goes, "Could you use more help?" And they were like, "If they're like you, yeah." So he recruits like all these mute guys to come do construction work. And honestly, like the guy who owns it is like, man, they don't talk, they don't fuck around, like they're not like jacking around, like they're
Yeah.
they're like really hard workers.
Am I the only non-mute person?
Oh no, it's probably like a 70-30 mute non-mute mix. But you pick up some like construction work, like sign language pretty quick. You guys, you do like learn to communicate together, and it's honestly like a place that you've really enjoyed working, and you're like, fuck, I don't want to leave here. Like the
Yeah.
pay is good, you work with like all these cool guys.
You know what I would do?
Ev
Is I think I would leave the site and I would wait 24 hours and I would come back in the morning and I would go, "Hey man, like what was that about? Am I actually fired? That's crazy."
so you leave the site, right? Like you go home.
Yeah.
You don't want there to be like a big dust up or anything, so you wait until the end of the next day, right?
Yeah.
They're getting ready to wrap up, end of the day. Maybe there's some time where you could have like a one-on-one conversation when things are wrapping up. So you go back to the job site, nobody's there.
Not even Ted?
There's not even Ted. You walk into the warehouse, and there's a sign that says, "Be back tomorrow, celebrating being rid of Pat Dean." And there's a picture of Ted, and he's giving like a big smile and a thumbs up,
Oh no.
you
Fuck.
know?
This is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting this
You
job
go,
back.
so you go, what the fuck? Like it makes you so
Yeah.
fucking mad.
Yeah.
And it's like they just like it was an impromptu thing. Like all the doors are open, like everything is just sitting there,
Why'd they leave a
you know,
note?
because they wanted to let anybody know, if they were coming by that they were out
This is
celebrating and they weren't going to be back till tomorrow. But it feels like rushed, like somebody made a grand proclamation. Everybody was like, fuck it, let's go, you know?
Man,
So you look at it, you look at Ted's smiling face on that picture, and it just makes you incensed,
I think I rip it down.
right? You tear it down, you tear it up, you smash it on the floor, and you say to yourself, you go, I'd love to wrap my hands around that motherfucker's throat. Then you look over to the side of the warehouse and you see that brand new scissor lift sitting there right by the door. You look down onto the floor at that torn up picture of Ted, smug little smirk looking up at you. And you think, I know what Ted loves.
Yep. Fuck you, Ted.
What do you do?
I I jump on that thing and I take off. I'm so mad I'm
See,
not even thinking.
you get into the scissor lift, right? You turn the key, you hear it power on. It just kind of comes on. You face the open door, you hit the joystick, and you take off, right?
Yeah.
Faster than you thought. It sort of like jerks you back and you almost lose your footing.
Wow.
You speed up right towards the open door. You're not going to make it. You duck. You barely get underneath this thing without hitting your head. And you take a turn right out of the lot and onto a side street.
Hell yeah.
You're driving this fucking scissor lift down the
Yeah.
street, joystick all the way forward, 15 miles an hour. This thing's opened up, right? We You hear it's just one solid tone.
Are there any people?
Yeah, there are definitely people.
I wave to all
You
of them, I think.
well, you've got a little horn on there. Beep, 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 right? You're like going 15 miles an hour down the
Yeah.
road. People are like
Fuck yeah.
you see like these two women out power walking, right? They're swinging their arms real wide,
Yeah.
wider than they normally do. But they just read in a new article of Power Walker Weekly that they go wider swings equal lower times, and they're trying, so they're out working on their game. They hear you, and they both look up and they wave, and they both just go, I love to see a man on a scissor lift. And then you hear them,
Oh shit.
you pass them up. You don't think anything of it.
Right.
You're giving hand signals, right? Like you're like signaling which way you're
Okay,
going to
yeah.
turn. You pass by a fucking You pass by a beer league softball game. Somebody hits a ball. You're driving along and you reach up and catch it one handed. Right, right.
Holy shit.
Every everybody fucking cheers. Right, everybody cheers. You launch it back over the fence. The right fielder goes, friend, what's your name? And you say Pat, and everybody just starts going Pat, Pat, Pat.
Whoa.
But you don't have time for this
No.
because you're hauling ass around town in this scissor lift.
I shouldn't have told him my name.
The game goes on. They all forget it
Okay.
immediately.
Well, that's good, I guess. Well, fuck yeah, this rules. I'm on a scissor lift and I'm just cruising.
You're cruising around town, right, on a scissor
Fuck
lift.
yeah.
You pull up to a stoplight, right? The light's red. It's the vertical lights, not the horizontal ones.
Yeah.
You sit there for a moment. You hear just like the idle hum of the machine beneath your feet. And you're looking at the red light and just kind of waiting on it to change. You look to check like the little crosswalk timer thing. You don't see one's posted. You look back at the stoplights and it's like you're in like a two-lane road. So there's like the bar with like the two sets of vertical stoplights. You look back at the lights and they're yellow, but like the red light above it is like illuminated and it looks like an eyebrow. And so you're looking at these two pairs of red lights and they're sort of uh like there's another like light bar that like sort of like illuminates the area that's positioned in between the two actual street lights, you know what I mean? So there's like the bar, the lights are on the bar, and there's like a little, just like a lamp
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
middle of them, right? And you're looking at these orange lights, and you swear that the lights are looking at you.
Oh man.
And you see the red, it looks like again, it kind of looks like an eyebrow. And you see that little lamp in the middle start to move, and it says, "Well, hi there, Pat."
Oh no.
And you see like the lamp sort of like flickers as you hear the voice from the streetlight.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hate to bother you, Pat, but
What the fuck?
you have the unique solution that can help solve my problem." You see the eyes are you kind of like look, and like the eyes are definitely following you.
What do you want?
And he goes, "This motherfucker over here." And you hear another voice behind you go, "Hey, cut it out." You look behind you in the direction of the voice.
Yeah.
There's like a power pole on the corner, and like the transformer at the top has like these little like coils that are like protruding,
Yeah.
and they both kind of glow like white hot with electricity, and they kind of look at you.
Jeez.
And the grain in the actual pole forms like a little mouth, and he's like, "You ain't gotta be so mean with your name calling."
Oh man.
You look back at the streetlight, and he goes, "This friend of mine over here has a pair of shoes hanging from his cables." He says, "Looking at the piece of equipment you're riding in, you could pop up there and take him down." He goes, "It would quit his bitching." And then you hear him go like, "You ain't heard bitching yet." And you see like
Man.
you look up, and you see like streaks of sparks just sort of like run along this wire that like hovers right above the street lamp. Sparks leap off of the wire and just shower the street light.
Whoa. So they're attacking each other?
I mean, you get like context clues would say that like these two know each other and they're
But
friends,
I can't
but
tell if they are
there's definitely
friends.
some tension.
Yeah, that seems like it. It seems like they have a very complicated relationship.
The street light goes, "Yeah, it's pretty complicated." He goes, "We're just having a good time. Could you take the
Okay.
shoes down, Pat,
Sure.
please?"
Sure.
You hear the power pole go, "Oh, thank God."
How did you know my name?
You look at that lamp where like where all the sound is coming from, and you see it just sort of like curl up at the edges and gets a little bit brighter.
What?
He goes, "First, the shoes."
Sure. Whatever.
So you maneuver this scissor lift directly underneath a pair of Adidas trainers. You hit the button on the panel in front of you and you ascend. You get up to a certain height, you hear auto lock. The system kicks in.
Cool.
You feel immense safety. It's solid as a rock. There's no sway. They've got no sway technology. They've got built-in vertical structure upgrades, you know. You're not tipping over in this thing.
No, I feel pretty good.
So you move the scissor all the way up to the very top, as far as you can go, and you are eye level with a pair of shoes. You're very careful not to touch the wire itself, but you manage to set free the power pole. As soon as you do, you hear him go like, "Oh man, that's the stuff." You you're like, are we good here?" Right? You look down, you see the like the stoplights, like the eyes are like looking up at you, you know?
Yeah.
And he goes, "I think we're good." So you hit the button, you descend. You can pick a song that you descend to. That's one of the features, right? And Ted picked proud to be an American. So
Oh man,
you're just descending in the middle of like an empty street. Proud to be an American.
how loud is it?
It's pretty loud. Somebody opens their window and goes, "Shut the fuck up!"
Sorry.
And you go, "I can't. It's the scissor lift." And they're like, "Okay," and they close their window. He opens it back up and he goes, "I'm sorry. I've had a long day.
It's all
I didn't
right.
realize it was your scissor lift. My apologies for being rude. Continue." He closes the window. All right.
Well, what was wrong with that guy?
He had a bad day.
Yeah,
He had a parking ticket that he forgot about 6 months ago, and he got pulled over, and they really harassed him about it. Now it's going to cost him
yeah.
like $1,000. It's just like
Oof.
a dumb mistake that he just doesn't normally make that he made today, and it's been a long one.
Yeah. All right.
So you kind of like go back to the intersection. You look up at the street lights, the stoplights rather, and the stoplight goes, "All right, Pat." He goes, "Thank you for being a friend to all of us." He goes, "Close your eyes."
Okay.
You close your eyes.
I closed my eyes.
You close your eyes. You hear like a almost like an electricity surge, and you are showered in sparks.
Whoa.
You kind of like open your eyes, you look up and you see the stoplights just like almost smiling at you. The shower stops and he goes, "On behalf of utilities everywhere, thank you for your help." And he says, "Welcome to the grid."
What?
And then it turns back into like a green light.
Hmm.
You hit that fucking joystick forward. You start taking off. You're at 15 miles an hour before you know it. You look back, power pole just sitting there.
Hmm.
You're driving along the street. You look up at the street lights, the ones that line the road, and it's almost like a little overlay pops up and it tells you what their wattage is. It tells you how much electricity they're drawing per hour.
Okay.
And then you move your gaze away and it disappears.
Huh.
You look at a fire hydrant and it tells you like how many psi could this thing shoot for how long, how many gallons per minute could you get out of there, and it also
What do you
says
mean it
there's
shows me?
it's like a almost like a video game, like a little thing pops up when you look at it,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and it
Holy
tells you that on
shit.
the fire hydrants, one of the stats is percentage covered in dog piss, and this one is at 100. Every stoplight you check that night is 100%. There's not a single one that is not absolutely covered in dog piss.
Dang. I guess it shouldn't be that surprising.
So you're like, what the fuck? Like you're driving around, like you look at somebody's like you look through a window, you see there somebody's like on a computer, they're watching pornography. You look in and like it tells you like what their internet speed is. With this specific one, it says time to bust, and there's like a countdown. It's like 40 seconds.
Oh,
So you just keep
wow.
driving,
God. All right.
you're waiting at a stoplight, right? And the stoplight, you kind of like look at it for a second, and about 40 seconds later, you hear somebody go, "Oh," and then you hear like a window close, and you look back and you see like the light that was in that room just gets turned off. So then you kind of like, that's fucking weird, right? You look up at the
Pretty
stoplight
weird.
in front of you, you blink and it just turns green.
Oh, fuck. Yes, the goddamn timers on the lights that we have in Austin are so annoying. Being on the grid rules. This is gonna kick ass late at night. I'm gonna get home so quickly.
So you do that, right? You get home super quick, right? You you pull that fucking scissor lift into your parking spot. You think, fuck it. They're gonna find out it was me anyways, right? And then you think about it, you're like, well, maybe not. You get back on the scissor lift. You go to the warehouse. You see that there's like like I said, there's like cameras around there. There's like you see cameras like the top of the building pointing into the fucking parking lot. You're
Yeah.
sitting outside on the scissor lift on the street and you kind of look up at it and you see that there's like power going to the camera. What do you do?
I guess I try to use whatever kind of grid powers that I have now to see if I can, I guess, control the camera and possibly delete the incriminating footage.
So you kind of like
This was a bad
access the
idea.
camera,
Yeah, I shouldn't have
right?
stolen this thing. Yeah.
You access the camera, right? You can sort of like use the camera as a way to get into like whatever storage devices. You find the files from that day and you delete them, right? You
Yeah.
wipe them out.
Fuck
So
yeah.
you think like, holy shit, like now they won't have any idea who did this, right? They won't
Yeah.
have any, there's
I
no
just put it
proof.
back and do whatever.
So you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna put this back. No harm, no foul, right? I'm just gonna get out of here. You drive in through the gate, you you know, lower down as far as you can go, you pull into the warehouse.
Yeah.
You see like the charging dock where you pulled it from, the open space there. You pull in, you plug up, you get out, you turn around and you see in the darkness an ember of a cigarette flare up. It illuminates the face of a man sitting in a lawn chair.
Uh-oh.
He stands up in a very familiar voice, says, Pat, how much money do you make per hour? And it is $25.63. You tell him that.
Well, who is
He
this
said
guy?
he says, I thought we told you 30 bucks and up. You hear the chunk of like the lights coming on in the building. It's Ted. He's standing there in front of you. The lawyer's behind him.
What?
Ted's got a 357 Magnum in his hand.
Oh, fuck.
And he said, I've been tired of you for a long time. I'm gonna
Fuck you, Ted.
love this. And he just
Fuck
shoots you right in the
you.
forehead.
Fuck you, Ted. I just say that over and over again until I get shot. Fuck you, Ted. I say
He
that
shoots
over.
you right in the forehead.
Ah,
Your head just bursts like a ripe watermelon. Blood gets scattered everywhere.
fuck.
You crumble to the floor, right? Just bleeding out from the hole where your head was. Ted walks up. He's got a chamois cloth, sort of wraps his arm around the scissor lift. He's like, I'm sorry, baby. And he
Okay.
starts he starts like cleaning your blood and your brains and your
Oh
bones
shit.
off of that
Oh
thing.
fuck.
The attorney quickly like puts us like an OR suit on and they chop your body up into like little
What?
pieces and they put it in drums and they hide the drums like all over like the construction site and they fill it with like dirt or whatever and nobody ever finds you nobody ever finds out. You deleted all the footage so there was
Ah.
like they went to like go wipe it and the lawyer was like, huh, it's already gone. And they said, good, one less thing to worry about. And then they fucking slammed, they hammered shut
What
the
is
50
Ted's
gallon drum
problem?
where they had your head. He just didn't like your shit.
But what did I do to make him mad enough to kill me?
Well, you stole the scissor lift, which was clearly like a violation of trust, and
Oh fuck
you didn't
him.
make enough money. Well, I'm just telling you what happened, man. There's never a body part of yours found.
Good.
That scissor lift. Ted eventually runs off with it. About 6 weeks later, they catch him. They catch him south of the border.
What?
Yeah, he puts a wig on the
Whoa.
scissor lift. Tries to pretend it's his wife.
Wow. Doesn't work.
They go to get married. They find a guy that's willing to do it. And then the scissor lift falls on top of him in a hot session of lovemaking, and he's
Good.
crushed beneath her weight.
Good.
Yeah,
I'll see
they
you in
never get
hell,
all the blood
Ted.
out of his sand. Yeah,